What's up, guys? I want to make this short video talking about cryptocurrency and why I'm such a big believer in crypto. I just want to be fully clear. Like, I'm not a, financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. I'm just going to share with you guys some of the stuff that, I think about and that I look at when I look around in the markets and realize what's going on in the world and why I'm so convicted in crypto and why I believe it's going to be massively successful. And it already is, I'm going to share with you guys why I believe in crypto as a whole. It's going to be probably a short video, but I just want to share this with you guys and get this off my chest because it's something that I really believe in. And, I was actually at, Bitcoin Vegas, the conference earlier. It was a few months ago. I think it was in May. I'm drawing a blank, but I think it was in mid-May, like May 22nd or something. But anyway, I was out in Vegas at Bitcoin. Got to meet so many cool people, man. Had a blast. Learning about this kind of stuff and just talking to people and, speaking with other investors. And man, crypto is here to stay. I don't care what anybody says. I am heavily exposed in crypto. I have over, I'm not going to say how much. I've got more than $150,000 in crypto of my own money. I'm a huge investor. I'm a huge believer in it. And I believe it's going to be massively successful. Not just Bitcoin. I'm a huge believer in Bitcoin, but I'm, lots of other crypto projects as well. And I'm not going to talk about the specifics, but it's here to stay, guys. If you do not invest in crypto, I'd ask that you reconsider that. If you're a young guy trying to be successful and preserve your buying power or over the long haul, you really should look into crypto. Again, not financial advice, not money advice, but it's here to stay, guys. Look around. The world is becoming more and more digital. It's becoming more and more tokenized, right? And as technology continues to become more prevalent in our lives, cryptocurrency is going to continue to do so as well, right? It's digital money. That's what it is. That's literally what it is, right? And in the case of Bitcoin specifically, the problem that it solves is it is basically it's difficult to explain because it's such a massive solution. It's basically the only real currency that this world has ever really had, right? If you think about gold, right? Gold is expensive to dig up. Yes, it's valuable. Yes, it has intrinsic value for sure, but it's not necessarily finite. You can always dig up more gold, right? If you look at fiat currency, for example, fiat currency, ever since we got off the gold standard in the 70s or 80s, I'm not sure off the top of my head, but at some point we got off of the gold standard, and which means that for every dollar that the U.S. Federal Reserve, which is not a federal institution by the way, it's a private organization, every single dollar that they created, that they printed, had to be tethered to a certain amount of gold, right? And eventually, at some point again, I don't remember when specifically. You guys can tell me in the comments. We got off of the gold standard, right? And when that happened, that created a concept basically called fractional reserve banking. And that is where the banks essentially can print as much money as they want, right? We don't have to have, 10 pieces of gold, 10 ounces of gold for every handful of dollars, right? There is no limit to how much money we can print. And ever since that happened, we've been inflating our currency by printing more and more currency every single day, right? I don't know the specifics on how much money is printed, how many US dollars are printed every single day, but it's a staggering amount. It's a tremendous amount of money that's printed every single day, right? And we all know that when there's more supply, the actual value of whatever it is, if it's gold or if it's silver or dollars, whatever it is, when there's more of something and it's more readily available, it does what? It becomes less valuable, right? Think about water, right? Water is everywhere. Water is, of course, it's valuable because we have to have it to survive, but there's so much of it, right? So it's not going to be worth a tremendous amount of money unless you're in the middle of a desert or something, right? I hope that makes sense, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? They can always dig up more gold. They can always dig up more silver. They can always, develop more houses. Yes, there's a finite amount of land on this planet. And again, as a real estate investor myself, I think real estate is a good investment for sure, but they can always develop more land, right? You see this all over the place. They're getting rid of office buildings. They're turning those into apartments and all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of, areas and, places of land that, can be developed into subdivisions. And that's what's happening. So to an extent, it is a very rare asset, but you can always create more of it to an extent, right? To a realistic extent, aside from there being just like houses on every single plot of land in the entire country, in the entire world, right? So land is valuable, but it's not it is finite, but it's kind of not, you can always develop more land, right? Stocks, companies can always, mint new stocks. They can always, create new stocks. That's what it is. They do that all the time, right? So your stocks are not necessarily finite, right? And where Bitcoin comes into play is because Bitcoin is finite. There's only 21 million Bitcoins that will ever be created, right? And they haven't all been created just yet. That's a whole nother video. But it's a finite asset. And right now you're seeing all kinds of organizations, BlackRock, Vanguard, all kinds of countries, nation states that are buying Bitcoin left and right? And it's a gold rush, literally. There's not enough Bitcoin. There's not enough, I shouldn't say there's not enough crypto. There's not enough Bitcoin specifically to go around, right? And in the future, in 10 years, I think Bitcoin's going to be worth seven figures, $1 million at least, I think. I could be wrong. It's just kind of a quick little, analysis and an estimate on what I think Bitcoin will be worth, or I think it's going to be worth a lot more than $1 million because there's not enough supply, right? There's just not. Everybody wants it. Why? Because it's finite, right? There's only so much of it, right? And it has intrinsic value. It's hard money. It's immutable. It cannot be changed. It cannot be hacked. That's what it is, right? And it's a good place for you to store your money. Certainly much better than cash, which can be printed every single day and night, 365, which it is, by the way. It's being printed. Our currency is being diluted every single day, every single second of the day. Your currency becomes much less valuable because it's not tethered to anything that is valuable, right? So back to my original point, I am a huge believer in crypto, huge believer in Bitcoin. You should be looking into this every single day, learning about how this kind of stuff works because it is the future, right? We have President Trump that's literally talks about it all the time, right? They say they're going to create a Bitcoin national reserve. Who knows if they will? Who knows if they don't? I don't know. But my point is the president of the United States, the free world, is all about crypto. His entire cabinet is all about crypto. Every single big company out there is all about crypto. BlackRock, the company that owns the most assets in the entire world, is all about crypto, right? Where do you think this is going? Do you think they're just all wrong? These people that run the world pretty much are just all, wrong on this and they're just making a big mistake? I don't think so. These people know everything pretty much when it comes to money and where the world is going. And it's going in the direction of crypto. It's going in the direction of digital. It's going in the direction of AI. I don't foresee those things getting any smaller. In fact, they're going to get significantly bigger. Every single year, they're going to continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger at an exponential rate. And I just see that as where the world is going. And you don't want to get left behind. So, I highly encourage you guys to look into Bitcoin, look into crypto. I don't think it's too late. I think it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And, again, I'm not a financial analyst. I'm not a, financial advisor. None of this is advice. I'm just telling you guys some of the common sense stuff that I see in this world. And crypto is not getting any smaller, man. You guys need to look into this. I've made a tremendous amount of money with crypto, and I plan to do a lot more with it as well, with all the money that I have in it. And I'm, putting my money where my mouth is, literally, by the fact that I have a tremendous amount of exposure and, a large amount of money in this asset class. And I really do believe that it's going to be, very successful and continue to grow at a very, very fast rate. And if you don't do anything, if you just hold your money in cash like a dummy, then you're just going to continue to bleed out, 3, 5, 7, 8% a year on how much your value is worth and your buying power, right? That's just the reality. So anyway, guys, I hope this video helps you guys out. Again, I'm just kind of sharing my thoughts. I'm a huge believer in crypto. I'm a huge believer in Bitcoin. And, if you guys are not, if you're kind of on the fence about it or, just unsure on how it works, I'd, look into how it works. There's plenty of people that can explain this in a much better way than I can. I'm just kind of giving you my, my dummy logic on, why I'm an investor and why I believe in this asset class and why I believe it's going to get bigger and bigger and why it's here to stay. So yeah, that's what I have to say, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you guys are investors, let me know as well. I'd love to hear your input. And of course, subscribe to the channel and like this. Smash the likes if this is helpful to you guys. Again, I make these videos just to share with you guys some of the lessons that I've learned in my life. And, hopefully this helps some of you guys out. At the very least, hopefully this entertains you and gives you some perspective. But yeah, man, I love you guys. I hope this video helps you guys. Let me know your thoughts. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.